Lewandowski, Luis Suárez, Gareth Bale, Julio César, and who are they going to get at the Etihad? 5 topics, 5 minutes. Joining me are former Man United, Nottingham Forest and England midfielder Neil Webb, comedian and Manchester United fan Paul Tonkinson, and Goal.com correspondent Greg Stobart. I'm James Richardson and this is Transfer Talk. Question 1 then. Klopp, Pellegrini, maybe even Mancini. Who's going to be the lucky manager complaining about Man City's attitude next season, Neil?
I think it'll be Mancini still in the job. I think he's got a point to prove again this season. He proved it last year by winning the league. He hasn't proved it in Europe yet. He's had 2 disappointing campaigns in Europe. He's lost the league. So I think he'll get another chance, another year.
I think Mancini's under massive pressure now. He's very lucky that Pep Guardiola's got the Bayern Munich job, because the 2 people above Mancini, Soriano and Begiristain, they've got no loyalty to Mancini at all, and they are looking for another manager. I wouldn't be surprised if they got someone like Pellegrini, but Mancini's under big pressure. They've blown it this year.
Under massive pressure. He needs money in the summer and 1 more season, I think. To be fair, but not that City are fair.
More money.
If they lose to Wigan in the FA Cup final?
It's been a disastrous season for City. Look at the money they've spent, look at the expectations of the owners. They won their first title last year. They haven't built it at all. They've regressed. It's not good enough. Look at this is a very ambitious Abu Dhabi ownership. It's not good enough.
All right, question 2 then. Lewandowski, is he offski?
Well, Mario Götze is going to Bayern Munich in a €37 million deal. You wouldn't think that Borussia Dortmund would be willing to sell their 2 most important players to their greatest rivals. Sir Alex Ferguson very rarely expresses publicly an interest in a player, and he has done in Lewandowski. It makes you question how he would fit into United's squad, but I think he could well be off with 1 year left on his contract this summer.
Working with Van Persie, maybe. The end for Rooney. Rooney off to Paris.
I think it's the end of Rooney. I think Ferguson wants to get rid of Rooney now, and they've got 4 strikers. Yeah. Why else would they be looking at Lewandowski? He's a wonderful goal scorer. He'd be perfect for them.
Someone take the weight off Van Persie as well. Less pressure on, because you don't want to become a one-man team to a certain extent in terms of match winners.
Interesting, the Mario Götze angle as well, that coming out just before they play this Champions League semi-final. Of course, if it goes well, he could end up playing his new employers in the final.
You almost feel like it's mind game from Bayern Munich announcing the deal before the end of the season, because, as you say, if Bayern Munich end up playing Borussia Dortmund in the final, it would be very, very awkward.
All right, question 3. Gareth Bale, how much are we up to now, Greg?
Well, it's supposed to be 100 million. Last week it was 70 million, and in next week it'll be 150 million. It could be anything. But we know Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman, is a ridiculously harsh negotiator, and it all comes down to whether Tottenham are in the Champions League.
How much would they take for him?
I think it'd take 60, 70 million. In Daniel Levy money, it would do. If they're in the Champions League, I don't think Bale would want to leave. Why would he? He's 23 years old. He's got at least another couple of years ahead of him.
And he's the main man as well. I mean, he's the main man there. It depends how much he values that and the supporters. He's always the last off the pitch, isn't he, Bale, notoriously? He likes to soak up the adulation. Will he want to go to Madrid and be a squad player?
He's a homeboy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. His girlfriend or wife is in Wales with a young kid. Will he, he can get London to Cardiff, wherever it is.
Cardiff has just come up,
It's
of
not
course.
fair. Yeah, it's not fair. Yeah, he won't go.
Might sign for Cardiff. Might sign for Bale for Cardiff.
He loves
10 million.
He loves being the main man. AVB has brought the very best out of him, but he deserves to be playing in the Champions League.
All right then. Item 4, the clock very unforgiving. Arsenal, as ever, they need a goalie. Could it be Julio César of QPR, Paul?
Well, it could be Julio César of César. Yes, I know they've been looking. There's been rumours that he's been looking at him, hasn't he?
If you were a QPR fan, would you be happy about that? If you were an Arsenal fan?
Well, if I was a QPR fan, I wouldn't be happy anywhere I look. Arsenal obviously need a new keeper. He had a fantastic January, didn't he, César? And since then he's kind of fallen off. He's not even in the first team now, is he? So it's dwindling returns with César.
Wenger definitely wants a goalkeeper. He's lost faith in Chesney. He's dropped him. You can tell that. Fabianski's historically been known for the clangers. You wouldn't be surprised if he lets one through his legs. They need a top-class goalkeeper because it's so important.
Wouldn't have said César was the answer. César was the anscer. It's QPR.
I think a better goalkeeper for Arsenal would be someone like Mignolet from Sunderland or Begovic from Stoke. They've been Handanovic, very good player. They've been linked with Reina a lot in the past, but I don't think Reina's been up to much recently either.
All right, well, this one's set to run and run, just like our clock, which brings us on to item 5. Luis Suárez, sources at Liverpool, beginning to put him out there and see if there's any offers. Do you think they're going to get a nibble, and from who?
Yeah. I don't think they get a nibble.
No?
No, I don't think so. I think Liverpool took a gamble when they bought him from Ajax after what he did at playing for Ajax. The gamble sort of worked. You know, he's a good player. You know, scores great goals, does tremendously well. On the Sunday, you saw best of both worlds from him. And then the worst of one world.
He's a fantastic player, isn't he? And also, some would argue, a racist cannibal. But that's okay if he's delivering for you. There's no way Liverpool are going to sell him. Who are you going to replace him with? The guy's a match winner, and he's a little bit nasty, which all great players need. But obviously, it didn't seem like a big thing for him, did it? It just seemed like he's almost doing it for he wasn't particularly angry or anything. Just part of being a game. I imagine he's one of those who's always nipping at you and all that, and it's just an extension of his.
Well, Liverpool will go nowhere if they sell Suarez.
No, they can't do it. They can't sell him.
They've got £80 million debt, and they're not going to be in the Champions League. With the PR damage that despite incidents done and over the last couple of years,
it's overplayed, though. I don't think it's as big as.
If the offer comes, I think they might consider taking it.
How come Defoe got away with it the other year, though? Didn't he beat someone and no one's anti-Suarez mentality in the press slightly?
Anti-Suarez agenda, my word. Well, that's this week's 5 from 5. If you enjoyed it, feel free to click the subscribe button. And if you've got anything you'd like to add, just leave a comment below.